Am I the idiot for grounding my daughter for being inappropriate to her stepbrother? To start off, my ex-wife and I split up when my daughter was about 4 years old. It was an amicable decision and I are still friends. We have had dinners together with our daughter at least once every couple of months since the divorce. My daughter loves these times and we get to talk about boring co-parenting stuff when we finish dinner and our daughter is out of earshot. I met my current wife when my daughter was 10, and she had a 13-year-old son. They got along, but she always seemed to want to hang out with him more than he wanted to be with her. I didn't think anything of it, just figured she thought he was cool and looked up to him. She used to beg for the two of them to have sleepovers in the living room and things. My stepson has never complained to me about this. My daughter is now 12 and my stepson is 15. And we live a pretty boring life together. But last week I heard my daughter scream crying from her brother's room. I went to investigate, and he was standing there, fists clenched and red in the face. My daughter was laying on the ground, sobbing and hyperventilating. Immediately I separated the two, and I started by talking to my daughter. She told me that her stepbrother said he hated her and didn't ever want her to talk to him again, and then pushed her to where I found her. I went to my stepson after talking to my daughter and confronted him. He admitted to the words but not the shoving. And he told me something that really freaked me out. He had just taken a shower and had come out from the bathroom to his room, but apparently he didn't hear the door latch closed. When he had finished getting dressed and turned to leave, he saw that the door was cracked and my daughter was on the other side. That's when he flipped out on her and told her to leave her alone and not to ever talk to him. I honestly didn't know what to think. I went back to my daughter and after a bit of prodding she confessed and said she was curious and seemed really embarrassed. I got really upset and told her what an invasion of privacy that was and how she would like it if she found someone looking at her to change the way he found her. I told her I was going to take away her laptop and her phone. She freaked out. She called my ex before I knew it, and when she handed me the phone my ex was on speaker scolding me for something so trivial. That every preteen/teenager gets curious sometimes. I told her it didn't matter. Her curiosity shouldn't impede my stepson's safety in my house and vice versa if it happened the other way around. My daughter started screaming that she wanted to live with her mom, and the next day my ex came to pick her up. My daughter is refusing to answer my calls or come for visitation, which used to be 50-50 split. My ex-wife says she's appalled by my clear favoritism towards my stepson. And I just want my daughter back. Am I the idiot? Should I apologize? Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot, your daughter was being inappropriate. You should point out to your ex that she would be pissed if your stepson did it to your daughter. If it's inappropriate for one, it's inappropriate for the other. Then the original poster responded with, when I said that during our initial conversation, she said something like, "That's different, he's older and therefore has more power over her." That's not word for word. It made me upset to hear. Comment 2. Not the idiot. All hell would have broken loose if you'd allowed your stepson to peek at your daughter while she changed clothes and not punish him for it. Your ex is an idiot, and you need to go to court and have the custody agreement upheld if she continues on with her nonsense. Now for the update. A lot has happened since my last post. I have been DM'd asking for an update. It's been a long time since my last post and a lot of the advice and support given was so heartwarming. Now on to the update. My ex-wife for a long time was on my daughter's side. Eventually her and I had a long discussion, and it was clear after that my daughter had twisted the story to seem more accidental. We both agreed that staying with my ex was the best for her until she agrees to seek therapy. 2 weeks ago she finally relented and started her first session on Thursday. My wife and stepson all discussed the idea of her coming back for visitation once she's had the help she needs. We even installed a padlock on my stepson's door, his request, to make him feel more safe. We plan on going back to our monthly dinners with my ex and daughter slowly, but hoping that therapy will help her. My stepson refused therapy and said he just doesn't trust her like he used to. I want to thank everyone for their advice and kind words, and I'd like to thank the mod team for dealing with my BS regarding this whole post. In a few weeks, if my daughter is comfortable, I may join to get a better perspective on what she's thinking. I'm truly hopefully that things will get better over time, but this has been a huge improvement. Considering she absolutely refused every time it was brought up and tried to say her stepbrother was the problem. Edit. A lot of people have asked why my ex and I believe therapy was necessary over what happened. So I will just copy and paste the comment I made to one of the users asking the aforementioned question. The therapy is to get to the root of the issue of why she not only lied, tried to claim her stepbrother pushed her, and refused to admit she did anything wrong despite multiple conversations. She kept sticking to the lie that her brother pushed her for no reason. I want her to have a therapist to help understand her thought process because it's pretty scary if I'm being honest. Not only that, but the fact my stepson says he doesn't trust her leads me to believe there may be more to the story that therapy could help illuminate. Not to punish her for having curiosity, but her curiosity should never impede on another person's privacy. Comment 1. Yes, it was wrong what she did. I understand the son being highly embarrassed and infuriated. That being said, young developing children deal with a lot of changes and curiosities. This deserved a strong response in the form of a discussion and perhaps some reasonable punishment. But it sounds like everyone involved is taking this way to the extreme. Perhaps pressure from your new wife? Kids do stupid poop, trust me, I know. But cutting off regular contact with your daughter, sending her to therapy, etc., for one instance of juvenile idiocy without a pattern of messed up behavior, is over the top, to me. You could have done as I said above and just closely monitored the situation thereafter to be sure further steps were not necessary. But instead, you jumped right to the extreme memo. Comment 2. Good on respecting your stepson's feelings, but remember their relationship may never get back to what it used to be. Don't try to force it. She has torpedoed it. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for an ex-friend's dog getting taken away and possibly put down? My dog, Coda, Chihuahua mix, is scared of other dogs. He actively goes out of his way to avoid other dogs and even hides behind me on walks when other dogs come by. I have a vest that says not dog friendly so people know this. My sister recently bought a puppy, Rhino, a Shih Tzu Australian Shepherd mix, and we introduced him slowly to Coda and he's gotten along with him. No signs of aggression or fear. Rhino has no prior training of any kind. A week ago my ex-friend, Allie, asked if her dog King, Mastiff, could have a playdate with Coda. King is a nice dog but he plays way too rough with smaller dogs and Allie doesn't correct him, so I said no and offered for him to meet Rhino, who is bigger. She got mad and called me many nasty names because I stayed firm on my no. Incident. This morning while me and my sister were drying Coda and Rhino off from their baths. Allie pulled up with King in her car. My sister immediately took Rhino to the backyard since Coda was getting a little anxious with King's barking. Allie got out and I started yelling at her to keep King in the car. I didn't want to move in fear Coda would bolt since we don't have a fence in our front yard. Allie said this would help Coda and opened the back door to her car. King bolted from her car straight at me. Coda started yelping and trying to get out of my arms. I tried to pick Coda up so King wouldn't get to him, but I tripped. I don't really know what happened at that moment because I had a panic, but from what my sister told me, Rhino slipped out the back gate and jumped at King. He kept barking and biting at King until he ran back to Allie. My mom came out and helped me get in the house so I could calm down while my sister grabbed Rhino. At some point one of them called the cops and animal control took King from Allie. Allie then tried to get them to take Rhino because he attacked King. But we showed them security footage that showed Allie starting the whole mess. The police forced her to leave and my sister filed a police report. I've been getting angry texts from Allie and her family calling me cruel and evil for causing Allie to lose King and how he was going to wrongly be put down because I couldn't control my dogs. I truly feel like this is my fault, but at the same time I don't know since King isn't an aggressive dog. Am I the idiot here? Edit. Allie was the one to call the police. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot, nowhere near. You repeatedly asked your friend not to bring her dog. When she showed up uninvited, you asked her to leave the dog in the car. I get that King was likely a big baby and just wanted to play, but it ran straight for you and your sister's dog took that as a threat. As far as your friend's family, it's none of their business. You have texts, hopefully, asking Allie not to bring the dog. I'm sorry the dog had to be taken away, but this is on Allie. Comment 2. Not the idiot, your dogs were on your property. But if they aren't under your full control, they really should be on a leash or contained by a fence, for their own safety. I don't think Allie was necessarily an idiot, but that certainly was a stupid thing for her to do, and she completely disregarded what you told her, which actually, yeah, that's a prick move. I hope she's learned her lesson, but even though she's responsible for instigating the whole thing, because your dogs weren't restrained, I think you have to take partial responsibility. Then the original poster responded with, they are well trained, but I have expressed both dogs are still working with a trainer. I will admit I should have had them on a leash, but I was confident since they don't bolt out of the yard after things. Coda will bolt to get away from other dogs, but he bolts under the house and refuses to come out for a few days. I will accept partial responsibility over my dogs being unleashed. Now for the update. So, I finally have an update on Allie and King. I had blocked everyone that was part of Allie's family so that I wouldn't have them blowing up my phone. But I did run into Allie's uncle and King at the vet, who explained what happened after I blocked everyone, and I learned that 1. Allie lied to her family about what happened, and 2. King isn't registered as her dog. For the first half she had told her family that I had arranged the doggy play date with our dogs and that Rhino got aggressive with King and attacked him and that I got King sent to the pound. So that's why they had harassed me about what had happened. The second thing was that because King wasn't registered as her dog, they had to call her uncle, who was the registered owner, to go pick him up. There they informed him about what actually happened as well as the fines and classes for King. Her uncle was livid because he had trusted that Allie had stopped doing things like this a long time ago, incidents I had no clue about. So he went back to Ally's home, she lives with her parents, and blew up at her in front of her family who had gathered to support her. He even showed her parents the police report of the incident. Her family were mortified that they had wrongly harassed me and they tried to apologize. Her uncle in particular was very angry because that was his name on King that got dragged into the mess. So not only is she going to be the one paying the fine and going to the pet classes with her uncle, her parents also took away her right to have a pet for as long as she lives under their roof. Also, for those that wanted to know, Coda and Rhino are doing fine. Coda actually made his first big doggy friend last week with an older pit bull named Rex. This was done in a safe, controlled environment with a trainer. Comment 1. Regardless of what they heard from Ally, harassing you was unnecessary. It's great that the truth came out, but frick that while family, except maybe the uncle. Comment 2. Glad all the pups are okay. And I'm also glad Ally got caught in her lies and is having to deal with the fallout. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for not letting my friends move into my house? I'm female 20. I had a rather difficult upbringing, single mother, absent father, lived below the poverty line most of my life type poop. When my uncle on my dad's side found out I existed last year, he purchased a house for me in the city I live in to essentially make up for my dad being a POS. I also live in Ireland, where there's a major housing crisis going on. It's a 3-bed 2-bath. But I turn the living room into my bedroom because I'm lazy and don't want to go up and down stairs all the time, so technically 4. I'm really proud of how I've decorated it, kept it clean and managed all of the bills myself for the last year. I'm also grateful that I won't have to struggle to find affordable rent like a lot of my friends do. The issue I'm having is that 4 of my friends, 2 couples, are being evicted from their houses before the year is out and are struggling to find places to rent. I love these 4 people more than anything, but they're sloppy, and have a tendency to host after parties and stuff. Their current house has bottles and cans everywhere, dishes are never cleaned, they somehow have a slug problem. I let a 5th friend, who was having some serious financial trouble, move in with me because she needed the help and she's cleaner and calmer. The 4 friends being evicted caught wind of this and knowing I do technically have 2 free bedrooms, asked could they move in as well when their lease is up. I said no, because I do not want 6 people living in my house, especially people who are not properly house trained and will absolutely disrupt my current lifestyle. I don't want to have my space invaded so much, because honestly, it's mine and I want to keep it mine. I told them I won't let them move in with me unless they actually end up sleeping on the streets, and even then I'd have my reservations. The 4 friends think I'm being an idiot, but I don't think I am, because it's my house and I decided who gets to live here. They're all not talking to me and I'm not too sure what to do with the situation now. Am I the idiot? Edit. I forgot to mention, they are being evicted because the property is being sold, and I believe it was demolished to make way for something else, but I'm not 100% certain on that. There's no update, so here's a few comments. This is a clear not the idiot, just don't be like. If you clean up then yes, since they won't, and it will end badly. Comment 2. Not the idiot, you have a very specific lifestyle, and they don't live the same way you do. Then the original poster responded with, I'll be completely honest, I do live the same lifestyle, I just don't like the idea of my space becoming the place to facilitate that lifestyle. I still sesh with them, but very rarely in my own house. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Just because they're your friends doesn't mean they're entitled to live in your house. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.